We finally arrived at receiving all the blessings. But there's a very unique way in which we go about this. So let's go in deep together. This blessing, which is commonly known as Modim, which literally means we thank you, or we're grateful to you, or we fully accept and admit to what we've been given, actually begins with us talking about our thankfulness, but ends with a very interesting way of describing God. The end of this is us saying to Hashem, Baruch Atah Hashem, you are blessed Hashem, Hatov Shimcha, your name, your identity, your way of being is good, Ulicha Ne'eh Lehodot. And it's beautiful. It's completely appropriate for us to be giving thanks to you. So we end up talking about how good Hashem is. And at the beginning, we begin by saying, Modim anachnu lach. And we talk about all the miracles which Hashem does for us in our lives, all of the marvelous things which we are experiencing all the time. So let's understand why we would be talking about the way Hashem is good. At the end of this, we could have just said, Baruch Atah Hashem, you're blessed Hashem, Ulecha Ne'eh Lehodot, and it's good to be thanking you. I mean, that's what we're doing, is we're thanking Him. Here, we're not asking Hashem anything. We're just describing the marvelous things which He's given us. So let's do a little bit of language work first of all. That word hodaya, that word thanks, is something which way back at the beginning of the series we explored very deeply. That a person gives thanks is actually related also to your glow, because the same word for hod, which is to thank, is hod, which is the glorious glow. You see, for a person to be able to give thanks, there must be an experience of the special glow, the special powers of life that bring out the exuding of life-filledness that we experience. We actually are experiencing also Hashem's glory in the deeper sense of it, not of us just standing in awe of it, but actually being filled with it so much that we ourselves begin to glow. This is the rooted radiance which I've named my community for, because it's what I'm looking for us to be able to experience in our becoming aware of all of the gifts we're being given in a way in which that divine light which is giving us those gifts then becomes so embedded in us and rooted in us that we ourselves begin to glow. So this is actually what we say, Modim anachnu lach. We're in gratitude to you. But at the same time, we're becoming aware of how deeply we glow by virtue of the gratitude. That's point number one. Point number two is this is actually the first time we're talking about our awareness of God's goodness. You see, up until now, we've been aligning ourselves with His way of giving of Himself, aligning ourselves with the desires that Hashem has, learning to resonate with the same frequencies of whether it be loving kindness or healing and well-being or abundance. We've been learning to become channels for those things. But now what's actually beginning for us to happen is for us to awaken ourselves simply by becoming aware of the goodness of God's gifts and engendering in us and awakening in us a receptivity to that, which is called thanks. In English, thanks is thank you, but in Hebrew, modeh, besides it having the undertone of glowing, also means to receive, to admit, to accept it, That's the higher level, really, of the expression of gratitude. It's not that I say thank you to you. I mean, sometimes when we say thank you to someone, say if someone gave you a compliment, so we say, oh, thank you. That's kind of a way of sort of, on a certain level, of really sort of pushing it a little bit distant from myself so I don't really have to just breathe it in and absorb it. But in Hebrew, when you talk about being modeh, it means to fully admit to it, to fully receive it, to fully accept it. That can be hard for people because it means that in a way the person doing the good for you has actually now awaken something in you. And it is, in a way, if you're a very boundaried kind of a person, is invading your space. So it's easier just to say, Toda, thank you, rather than fully just allow it to be absorbed. This is something which is a whole personal growth work itself, which I dedicate much time to in my personal growth work with people. But for now, it's important for us to realize that in the prayer, for us to say, Modim anachnu lach, is that I'm anxious, I'm desiring, I'm passionate for the receiving of these gifts so that they become fully a part of me rather than that I live apart from you. So that's another point for us to recognize of what's happening here. A third thing is that the word modeh actually shares a Hebrew root for aden, for a socket, for a vessel which receives things. So that's a deeper description of what I'm becoming now as I'm being modeh. So these are a few points, first of all, at the outset. Another point I want to make is that this is a really magical opportunity to stop reading the words and actually bring up in yourself something for which you're grateful, to make it specific, to actually alert yourself to a gift you received. Let it be a smile someone smiled at you, whether it be a particular talent that you have, a success that you just experienced, something which you did for someone else and experienced that marvelous feeling of just a joyousness in being able to give over something which is beautiful to someone else. So these kinds of things are actually really the miracles of life. And we talk here about the miracles which Hashem does for us. We're not talking, when we talk here about miracles, about things which are not natural, things that are like the splitting of the sea. We're talking about miracles in the following sense, and this is really important for us understanding why miracles are important in general. We talk about miracles here because a miracle is a way for God to say, I am choosing this. This isn't just the way things are. This isn't just the way things are working out. I am choosing this. I am desiring this. So when something happens to us, which is a reflection of God's desire for us, God's choosing us, that's something to be related to as, this is a great miracle. It's a great miracle because it didn't have to be were it not that you're choosing it. Now, I know nature has it this way. When I light the fire, it warms me. But that itself, on a deeper level, is miraculous because it is a reflection of God's desire that it should be that way. That goes even deeper because when you become really deeply aware of life and of the miraculous presence of all things that are around you, so then you realize how much life itself is a miracle in the sense that it didn't have to be, there was nothing forcing the divine to share of itself, but rather that there's a desire on the part of Hashem to be with us, to share himself, to give over existence. Desire is a reflection of the miraculous, meaning beyond what the laws would have required. So here in this blessing, we try to engender a consciousness of it all being miraculous. There's like nothing here that had to be that way. That's a way of really deepening our sense of this being personal. Hashem's relating to us in a personal way. And if you get that going in yourself, so you'll discover how much more you glow by virtue of that awareness. And the final thing that I want to point out is the way this blessing ends. We say, Baruch atah Hashem, blessed you are Hashem, how overflowing with goodness you are Hashem. Hatov shimcha, your way of being, your identity that we experience, your name, is good. Ulechana elodot. And it's so appropriate, it's so beautiful to be giving thanks to you. Here we talk about Hashem as good. And here I want to bring us back to something we explored very, very early on, but we'll explore right now again. It says at the beginning of Genesis that there was no rain coming down because as Rashi, our great interpreter of the Chumash, explains, because there was no one to recognize the good. As soon as there was a human being who could recognize, who could appreciate, who could become conscious of, aware of the goodness of rain, God brings rain. Now, there's a lot to talk about here, but there's one particular point I want to make right now. Think about that. It's awareness which awakens God's desire, the awareness of his goodness which awakens his manifesting the goodness he wants to bring. Our awareness of it brings it into manifestation. And the truth is, that's a divine attribute. Because if you think about the first chapter of Genesis, when God is creating things, every time he makes something, it says, Vayar Elokim ki tov. God saw it and it was good. God saw it and it was good. How many times does that repeat itself? God saw it and it was good. That, according to the Ramban, Nachmanides, a great interpreter of the Chumash, is that was the awarding of existence to it. Seeing it as tov was the actual assertion of its appropriateness to be manifest, and then it became manifest. It was his seeing it as good which participated in its becoming. That is so profound for us. When you see something as good, you're participating in asserting its worthiness of existence. That's a way of augmenting what you already have that's good in your life, making it stronger, making it deeper, making it more real. But here's the thing beyond that. When you imagine the good things and recognize them and see them even before they've come into existence, that appreciation itself, even before it's given, itself participates in it becoming real and manifest. You might have to listen to this a few times, but I'm sure you're going to get it. And you'll actually see how this kind of receptivity, how this kind of gratitude, how this kind of awakening of your appreciation of the good, how this way of becoming more glowing by virtue of the way in which you've now become deeply aware of this great miracle of life. All of these are these very dear and precious moments in prayer, which, as the rabbis teach, always should end with giving this kind of thanks, with becoming aware in the way we've just been describing. And so I really look forward to us meditating together in the meditation and enhancing and deepening our power to be Modim. In this meditation, we're going to open ourselves up to receive the goodness that Hashem is sending us in a way in which it enters into us, brings our bodies to glow, and gives Him a place in this world through the joy and gratitude that we experience in knowing His goodness. Let's take a few moments to just get comfortable in makom, in this place, as we relax ourselves through some conscious breathing. Just follow your breath as it enters through your nostrils in the most natural way that requires nothing of you. Watching as your stomach expands. And then slowly exhaling what you breathed in. Take another conscious breath. No need to change the pace, just breathing in and noticing. Being aware. And staying conscious as you exhale. Send a message to your shoulders to relax. And invite the calm relaxation to spread down through your back, into your legs, all the way down to your feet and toes. And invite that calm to now ascend through your legs, deepening the relaxation. Up through your waist and stomach, into your chest, up through your throat and your face, relaxing your jaw and spreading the space between your eyes as the calm deepens. And now bring up a memory of an event that happened when you really felt alive, felt gifted. It might have been something you did for someone. It might have been something someone did for you. It might have just been a kind word spoken by you or someone else. Or a smile. It might be simply sitting here now. Let the experience of what happened become more vivid to you. Note the feeling that comes up in you as you re-experience that beautiful event. And as you cultivate the response within you, sense gratitude opening up, feeling thankful, appreciative of this goodness that came of its own. Sense now as if there's a beam of light coming down towards you from above. A beam of light of love, compassion, a beam of light of gratitude and appreciation being sent down through the top of your head, warming your interior with love, compassion, gratitude. And let it come down towards your heart, interlaced with the pulse which beats, enhancing the appreciation and gratitude which was already there a few moments ago, deepening it with the presence of the divine. Return to the memory of that which you appreciate, and deepening that appreciation as it glows in you with divine light. And turn that gratitude towards Hashem, who has both provided you with that situation and provides you with the awareness to know its goodness. Give thanks to Him. Modim anachnu lach. We are thankful. We glow for you. Atov Shimcha, your whole way of being with us is goodness. It is so beautiful to thank you. Accept within yourself this fullness of hodaya, of gratitude, as an opening to more and more goodness that Hashem will beam down into your life as you glow with the glory of gratitude.